So it seems that Games Workshop have let slip the new Tyranid model that's coming out alongside the Codex. The rumours are true, and the Parasite of Mortrex is making its return. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today we're just looking at a surprise model reveal. I was sent this by a few different people, but apparently this picture was up on the Games Workshop Warhammer community page for a little bit, and then they swiftly took it down, realising that it was spoiling one of their new models. It comes from a picture of a whole Tyranid swarm charging down a Blood Angel's infantry force, with this freaky looking new model as the absolute centre stage of events. Clearly a promo picture to upsell their new character alongside the new book that's coming out. I have mentioned this in a couple of other rumour videos already. When we saw the previews of the winged Tyranid thing in those New Year previews from that video, a fair few people were suggesting that it could well be the return of the Parasite. Basically all the preview bits of the model did fit quite well with the previous artwork that we already had of the miniature, and it does fit quite well with what Games Workshop seems to like doing these days, going back to some previous established fluff and lore for other editions of the book, and digging into some concepts that weren't well explored or never really received a full model release in their own right, like this guy. From the picture, there doesn't seem to be any other sort of units backing him up at all, so my guess would be is that this is just going to be a single mini character release, maybe in a similar sort of way to the Adeptus Custodes getting their Blade Champion or the Genestealer Cults their Reductus Saboteur. Generally, Games Workshop's bare minimum seems to be to release a new updated character with the Codex, and a fair few of the books get a bit more lucky and get a bigger, more widespread release. For that reason, I strongly suspect that we won't also be getting Tyranid Shrikes, as some sources were rumouring. I guess it's not absolutely out of the question that this could be a multi-build kit. He is kind of like a Winged Warrior or Winged Raven, and it's kind of easy to imagine that a new set of Tyranid Shrikes could follow a similar sort of pattern. My guess would be, though, that we're probably not getting them, and this guy's just going to be an individual kit. I would guess that in this photo they would have included the Shrikes as well if they were being sold to, but I guess we'll have to wait for some full previews for final confirmation. In any case, in the lore, the Parasite of Mortrex is basically an experimentation of the Hive Mind, an old Tyranid special character that never actually wound up getting its own miniature. How the lore of this guy is that he sneaks and flies around, injects you with a hollow tail to implant a whole load of Ripper embryos, and then those Ripper embryos mature rapidly, biting and burrowing their way out of your flesh. Probably not the most fun way to die, even within the 41st millennium. I remember him having rules for spawning Ripper swarms in previous editions of the game, and I'm basically absolutely sure that he will be able to do that in the new Tyranid book. Even within this picture there are some Ripper swarms lurking next to him. Maybe he might even have some way of buffing their damage output as well. This is the previous artwork for the Parasite that I did think looked like those previewed pictures, and it does look almost identical to this miniature that we have here, which is why I'm so certain that it is indeed the Parasite of Mortrex. Quite a good example of Games Workshop taking some classic art and then updating and releasing a new miniature for it. In general though, I think it's really quite a cool miniature, incredibly freaky and disturbing looking. Altogether too many wings, tentacles and long slender appendages. I believe that claw that we can see on the bottom left of the model, that was in a previous Tyranid rumour engine as well. Looks like a fun kit, and one of the first Tyranid models that they've had updated in a really long time. Still a faction that could be in need of a fair bit of support. I wouldn't be enormously surprised if Tyranids happen to be the target of a future big model update, maybe something akin to what the Orcs, Necrons or Craftworlds got. In any case, really quite a fun model, good for the Tyranid players to get something new for once, and I'll certainly be interested to have a look at his in-game rules when we get them. Hopefully he'll be effective and fun in-game, though he does seem unlikely to be some sort of powerhouse melee unit that just runs around deleting enemies. I suspect he's going to be better preying on weaker units, and hopefully doing some cheeky Ripper spawning shenanigans. In any case, let me know what you think of the new model. If you're a Tyranid player, would you think about picking this guy up if he's not too expensive? I look forward to hearing all your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, where I'll certainly keep the regular 40k stuff coming. I will cover as much of Games Workshop's news and releases as possible, including any more details that we get of the Tyranid Codex. I'm looking forward to reviewing the book in full once it's out. Finally, if you have been enjoying all the videos, I'd just like to mention that there are links down in the video description to support the channel, Element Games to buy miniatures within the UK, and the channel Patreon page, which is what allows me to keep on making so many videos quite so often. Any support is enormously appreciated, and thank you to any who do. In any case, an enormous thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.